The United Socialist States of America hit some hard times in the 1980s as the Russian Republic under the leadership of President Gorbachev sought to outspread the commie Americans because of capitalist and democracy Russian reasons to end the Cold War. This led to the fall of the Paris Treaty Pact in 1989 after the USSA made the mistake of letting Steven Seagal appear on camera and state media. With the fall of the United Socialist States of America under General Secretary Walter Mondale in 1993, former Communist Party of the USSA Wyoming oligarch Dick Cheney runs for office with Marxist professor Newt Gingrich as his running mate under the DSA against the Reform candidate Party member John B. Anderson and former ambassador to Russia James Baker. The DSA utilizes censorship expert Pat Buchanan to suppress voters and spread television misinformation while gaining funds from oligarchs Bernie Sanders and Ron Paul. The nationalist group Iron Fist, led by Socialist Columbia war hero John Kerry, seeks to get monuments built to American White Army forces from the previous Civil War, which had lasted from 1932 to 1940, as a means of better reconciling with the past. However, Professor Gingrich has been very vocal with his anti-reconciliation rhetoric and had previously imprisoned students sympathetic to non-CP-USSA groups with other ideologies that were counter-revolutionary, according to him. Additionally, the Mafia had overrun much of American society under boss Al Gore. Oligarchs Bill and Hillary Clinton hired Gore to do a drive-by shooting against Iron Fist, and media mogul Donald Trump ran a therapy show on TV which diverted the public's attention away from the news and gang warfare in rural Massachusetts. DSA party oligarch Ron Paul seized the chaotic opportunity to put forth the demands for a massive tax increase and increased government surveillance to combat the Mafia problem. His plan was to do what the Treaty of Versailles had done before, but it was aimed at the Mafia. Former chairman of the Red Air Force and now Supreme Federal Commander John McCain cracks down on the Mafia, which makes DSA oligarchs very mad as the cocaine trade had made them very rich. Anderson supporters initially support the crackdown, and it is also supported by the international community as Cheney was viewed as a revisionist for the old United Socialist States of America to be reborn. At this time, Cheney advocated for the return of the CP-USSA and was endorsed by the radical Maoist Tucker Carlson, who had launched many false attacks pretending to be Iron Fist so the Maoist terrorists can respond with mass executions. This is where some historians argued that the Civil War started when Maoist Carlson assassinated Anderson at the revealing of White Army General Douglas MacArthur's monument at the Golden Gate Bridge. Iron Fist responded by apprehending Tucker Carlson, who was later silenced by Dick Cheney while in prison. Pat Buchanan's voter suppression and the Clintons' use of the Mafia was revealed by John McCain after capturing boss Al Gore, who made a plea deal with McCain. Boss Gore was to be set free to commit arson against poppy fields. In exchange, he made McCain an honorary member of the gang. Cheney and the oligarchs decided to seize power after losing the election with new mob boss Dan Quayle, where the first shots of the Civil War were fired. Newt Gingrich decided to become a suicide bomber as he converted to Buddhism and then believed that he would respond after killing himself. Gingrich detonated himself at the Reform Party headquarters and killed Russian democracy promoter Vladimir Putin. This prompted radical anti-vodka smuggler and Alcoholics Anonymous founder Boris Yeltsin to run for office in Russia on the platform of non-intervention in the Third American Civil War in the year 1997, but he was defeated by his other personality, Joris Beltsin, who advocated for an intervention into New York's greatest pizza restaurants to save them from all of the violence that was tearing the country apart. While all of this was going on, nature enthusiast Alex Jones led a group of anarchists with the goal of crossing the Rocky Mountains and reaching Kenya with the hope of finding Border Patrol officer Barack Obama's birth certificate there, as he did not believe that Obama was a legitimate American. Jones's biggest enemy, however, was geography, as he is unaware of what a compass is, and he believed that maps were a false creation from Iron Fist. This caused the Mafia to lose much of their profits, as Jones was their primary consumer. Alex Jones's withdrawal from cocaine caused him to have visions, which made him want to interview RFK Jr. about every single debunked conspiracy theory and bring it all up, as well as a great deal of confusion within this Civil War. Meanwhile, the former Paris Pact states of Western Europe received much aid from Russia and China, as China has owned Hawaii since the start of the Cold War between the capitalist states of Russia and China and the United Socialist States of America and their satellite states. Hawaii then voted to remain as part of China as the U.S. entered its third civil war. North Korean star basketball player, time-traveling Kim Jong-un was able to prevent the former Paris Pact states from entering the war through secret negotiations and by demonstrating his basketball skills. Additionally, Gingrich did not respond from his detonation, and the DSA started to lose hope in the war. General Michael Dukakis leads an armored division in the East Coast in a desperate attempt to conquer Canada as a unifying measure for both sides of the Civil War. However, this conquest was abruptly halted for reasons that are still unknown to historians today. Some point to the fact that Canadian ultra-nationalist and descendant of Fidel Castro, Justin Trudeau, revealed to the world that he was Liam Neeson's long-lost brother. Speaking of Fidel Castro, the globally phenomenal baseball player who has been leading Cuba since the early 1960s, he has made Havana a sports hub since he received a $10 bill from FDR shortly after the end of the previous Civil War in 1940. Seeing all of the destruction of the current American Civil War, Havana has a plan to come out on top by reforming the government into creating a pirate nation in the Caribbean and outdo Disney. As the war entered the year 1999, Yugoslavia decided to back the Western States of America. Attorney General Joe Biden fell down the stairs and forgot that it was the 1990s, and instead his mind reverted back to the 1790s, back when he was a wee youngster. Huey Long's speech from the Revolution of 1932 is played across the nation for the new year, which triggers a cataclysmic event after relics of the Finno-Korean hyperwar were found by Shaggy Rogers and Tobey Maguire, which enforced peace between all warring factions after the public execution of Dick Cheney and Iraqi Vice President Izzat Ibrahim al-Duri. And that is a very brief history of post-communist American Civil War. Is there any major events which I left out? Are there any other things you'd like me to have emphasized? Let me know in the comments below, and thank you for watching.